Hello, America. Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. They have roles with governors. They have roles with programs with police forms. Since, like some of them, since they were kids, they had doctors, like psychologists, speaking with them. Now, those people were involved with predicate acts against strangers, going up to them and making confessions, and about other people's names and locations. Wethersfield police has a DeMauro family, and a bunch of Rocky Hill police are involved with the DeMauro family, and ones with on-off New Britain Superior Court, on-off Central Connecticut State University, and all along routes going directly there. In the back roads are spots involved with identity thefts and frauds instances. They have strippers from a place that is next to where they make airplanes in East Hartford. And they have other businesses in that area. And they have a CRT note, Community Resources. I believe it's CRT. Community Resources Training, or whatever they called it. But that location and the other locations off it, with various natures, courts, judges, male and female, and their family members. Like a Delaferre family, per them. I don't know the Delaferre family. Their girlfriends and their girlfriends' other boyfriends are involved with identity thefts and frauds because of their roles as when they were little boys and girls with programs, with the people that ran the programs, with identity thefts and frauds, falsified police reports roles, drugs crimes and medicines crimes roles, uses of locations where they're pretending other. They're using misinformation. They have remote uses of political differences like the Democrats and Republicans. Both CNN and Fox News prevent us from reporting things over Facebook. Their sources, they're saying all our sources. They pretend they care about women victims. They do not care about women victims. They're even forcing child abuses of the littlest kids. Because the ones they pretend are victims in the background getting the sequence shifts and roles with the abuses of other girls and women. Even little girls, the women that were abused when they were kids. A whole bunch of men and women when they were little kids were associated with the Christopher Walters and programs with the departments at Central Connecticut State University, where they have private school kids and public school kids involved with predicate acts stacked into databases, identity thefts and frauds, sabotage of people's educational reception, putting fake things into databases too, time imposition, then pretending people know each other. There is a Wethersfield pizza that's right down the street and around like a little bit. You take a right-hand turn, but you can see it right from there. The Weathers from their state judicial branch offices. They are also involved with black and white families used remotely with some KKK Confederate flag themed people also involved with forensics experts through the transition from ACA to RICO, Organized Crime Control Act, to the Organized Crime, to the Racketeering Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. These are CNN sources on and off Central Connecticut State University before the World Trade Center attack, as roles in the backgrounds with predicate acts and wrongdoing since. They've been attaching me and other people to fake words and fake communications with doctors that weren't at all, and ones I never had any conversations with. They got scared when I asked them to report when people asked me for help reporting, which are courts associated with the deposition of former director of F.B.I. Robert Luskin, his defendant capacities, a number of federal criminals tied to and as his co-defendants, John LeConte, Thaddeus Grabowski, and Dominic Labriata, and Dominic Labriata's neighbors, and people around that live not far from there, in that park and locations next to it, through time, were and are involved with our agencies used remotely, individually grouped and together in their family members, with falsified police reports. The courts use all the time. The courts use charging people with harassment, for example. and with the police forms, plural, it's not just regular one department, and their family members, fabricating police reports, switching names of arresting officers, writing fabricated audio and video transcripts to replace what's actually there, hiding the evidence is because it's not real, they're making it up. For example, in various natures of cases, they have roles further then and now with the principal sex offenders campus. MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News have their Facebook pages involved with this. The Facebook page of New Britain Superior Court, the Facebook page of Wethersfield Police is involved with this. They attach me to fake writing of letters on their and words on their location, off their location. They attach others around me to fake words. Me, fake words with themselves, a kid. These are from Wethersfield Interbranch involved with New Britain Superior Court, Hartford Courts. Since they were kids, they're them and their family members and their neighbors. Involved with identity theft, fraud, sequence shifts, offensive evidence reception, racketeering, originally and still. Listen to them with their premises. Follow mandated law for them. I've been asking you guys for a long time. Don't pretend like, I don't understand you. They do that on a mass scale. They tell people they take your meds. Little kids that were bullied when they were kids, then they're lying about who bullied them. When they get bullied because they were sequence, if they were messing with other people first too. They try to make exceptions because they go against little kids. They go against their strengths and weaknesses simultaneously. You see that big guy in the insurrection, what they call the insurrection. Note they call that the insurrection, but they leave out the mass amount of people walking into the country, desperate. Now with COVID, with all kinds of drugs and medicines crimes. The same places, what they call NGOs or whatever like that. There's a private place on the public campus of Hartford Hospital. See, public dollars are going to these doctors, ones with badges, and judges and their family members with drugs and medicines crimes with the kids, sexual crimes with them, other methods of them. And then they're blaming other things. They're making girls and boys make confessions to strangers and making statements and uses of locations that no one's going to go back and be honest about. But they go back and speak about it anyway because they pretend to be legitimate anyway when investigators bring those things up, like murder investigations. Oh, but we never wanted a murder. Doesn't matter. You guys are furthering the predicate acts roles with killers, people next to the body dumping spots. Remote uses of forensics locations, remote uses of the prisons tied to the various natures of courts personally and their family members criminally involved, remote uses of them hiding their life progressions. The Hartford Hospital and Institute of Living has roles with the military, foreign and domestic, fabricating audio and video, fake conversations with me about the World Trade Center attack, as their roles attaching Saudis to fake words with me and my family, with a Scalora family and a DeMora family. A bunch of people from Central Connecticut State University recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with private school kids. And as people that went to other schools, didn't even go to my school, involved with predicate acts, identity thefts, and frauds, stacked into databases, spoken by the people involved on and off Wethersfield Pizza, on and off the state judicial branch offices, with predicate acts on campuses I went to, and with the locations next to it. Little identity thefts and frauds instances roles. Then uses of it through time, which demonstrate what's actually recorded, which shows them pretending passions and emotions in cases, pretending passions and emotions over the television. They can't defend themselves now, so they fight each other, fake sides. They're doing a little scam on us. Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN. So you guys better stop hiding what I said and give this to Judge Napolitano and fear God for lying to him about me. I'm talking about you too. The courts, judges, and prosecutors with the roles, with the switching names, forging names, speaking fake things, preventing me a right to speak, while they're putting me and others in fake words with each other and with themselves. You better get them to one name and sequence on paper fast. They better not start pretending they're speaking about for women. They better not start pretending they're speaking about for elderly homes. I know that you guys, since before the pandemic, how the elderly homes are involved with this. How with the wire crime methods with it too. You know I caught them dead cold. My past neighbors involved with them with this, with the Wethersfield police, intercities, and with houses and families in different parts of town. 3 spots at the end of the Borough Turnpike, involved with judges and prosecutors and foreign and domestic families and fire departments with predicate acts on off Trinity College, on off Central Connecticut State University. Now we need to get a name because I never had a conversation in my life with this Joshua Stryker, and I wasn't drunk. I don't remember. I remember I was there. They had their little pit bulls, and the kid made and Eric Oliveri made all these confessions about his roles with UPS and drugs, and the confessions of Eric Jensen, who were made separate, and of his roles with Mike Roberts, who I also barely know. And they were also involved with making bombs with people. They were down on the other side of the judicial branch offices. There are also houses next to the judicial branch offices that are involved with this Oliveri family. That also said that there's an Eric Olson and Matt Olson. They non-verbally demonstrated that was true. I never had a conversation in my life with them. And they tried to take a picture of me to pretend other outside of Trinity College one time when I was in high school on Zion Street. And now there's also a Mike Daly, and there's a Chet Casper. And his father, I don't know his father and mother's name, and I don't know his sister's name, and her husband's name. I never met her either, and I never had a conversation with him. These are people that were not in my classes ever, starting in grammar school. I never saw Chet Casper on my campus one time in grammar school. And he was brought up in confessions regarding a former Mayor Gold's daughter and son, she's involved with sequence shifts and with coming up to me yelling, pretending passions and emotions, with overt criminal enterprises and related to corruption proven that the F.B.I. was involved with in the past, and other agencies and police forms. And then, in other words, there's a Joshua Julian also involved with he brought up an old news corruption and that is also when he was involved with Joshua Julian's one of the people involved with uses of Facebook with a principal sex offenders camp, a principal child offenders campus. There are more sex offenders, and there are also women judges' roles with this. So we have women judges and prosecutors and state's attorneys switching and forging names. Private attorneys involved attaching people to fake words, their conspiracy theories, and their physical delusions. Fabricating audio and video transcripts, roles, having that replaced. There's a Trantolo and Trantolo also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, forcing me to speak, forcing everyone to speak through other people, and they're making things up. These are ones with the courts that use making charges against people because they're needing to hide lie progressions, because in the background when they hear I said something or other people said things, they have to hide their lie progressions. They have to hide their actually recorded natures because they already used art. They already spoke. They can't speak. How could they speak? They have no integrity. Science never spoke. You see what's really causing the negative value nature progressions, action natures on Hartford, New York City. Fred Grisey recorded, confessed, demonstrated, confirmed, involved with agencies and police forms, and my town's police chief, and their roles with the acting coaches and professors of people involved with drugs and medicines crimes. Whether they're undercover or not, they're involved with predicate acts and cases. They're involved with child abuses. They never had integrity with the little kids. They had the little girls with the name Bobby Jean, involved with a man named Bobby, and with this Christopher Walters, intercities through time with the private campuses and the public campuses, also with names that are Washington, D.C. and World Trade Center criminally involved. Insurance companies, the Hartford, respond for them. There is a Kerr family that Officer Jerry Miller recorded, confessed, and demonstrated right before the pandemic is involved further with fire department and other people with wire crimes with him, and with drugs and medicine crimes, pretending other, slandering people, fabricating falsified police reports roles, and roles with harassment and each sides of my house, uses of the names of the other family members. Now there are some police forms on and off Fox Connecticut News and the locations next to them with the name Domain and Mendez. The Domain brothers also brought up that, repeated that there are some Jewish people that live near me that are involved with them. Now these are people also recorded, confessed, and demonstrated involved with some smoke crimes with my chimney, where smoke cards started coming out of nowhere, and they have these people in it. So they're trying to pretend there's personal problems between me and people I never had anything to do with. They've been trying to make problems between me and the people around me since I was a kid. This is a method they do. They even have their own neighbors involved with this, not by accident. You're gonna see what former director of the F.B.I., former standing chairperson on the Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act was involved with and is involved with. When you see them with passions and emotions pretending to care about women and victims and elderly, they are covering up sequence shifts. Then they're going to say, "Oh, well, I had mental illness instinct." Their therapists are involved with courts of various natures, like probate courts, that are involved with fabricating audio and video about people from their positions. These are people involved with the elderly homes sick. You think science spoke for the elderly homes? Have you seen them? Have you seen the one at the end of the three spots at the end of the Berlin Turnpike? Now, how they got away with that and making everyone look over things is recorded. But you have to follow mandated law for this. We need to get the Wethersfield police onto paper. What are they doing? Attaching me to fake words in our video with the news too. NBC Connecticut News. I never sent emails. That was conversations over the phone, and know all the different messages that the since proven principal child abuser left on my phone messages. Get the courts onto paper. I asked you 50,000 times nicely. You can't call up your phones. You can't email you guys. You attach me to fake emails. MSNBC, WFSB, attach me and my family to fake words. Fake pleading in cases, even though others recorded. They lied about the outcome of cases. And as their roles with federal criminals, and one that was ongoing at the time of my father's death, recorded, confessed, and demonstrated, involved with predicate acts against my father and family since before he died. The same ones that are pretending other things before and after in other cases. And they never let anyone have a voice. So the news is offensively stealing people to fake words, fabricated audio and video, fabricated emails. You watch the switching and forging names, even of different departments, arresting officers that weren't even there and some of the narratives. And that's the last one they use. So there's not one you can respond to without leaving out other things, or you're going to sound crazy. Because they pretend they don't understand people when you just say things true and simple, proper. So we don't have a man speaking for men properly. And we sure as hell don't have one man or woman speaking for women properly, or little girls. We have little punks for titles and want to have punk fights with people, calling people names, and they call that science.